guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Sunday, August 1st at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm live. Come on in. Come on in. Good to see everybody. We'll have lots of fun. And I welcome all my Facebook peeps who come in and chat. Love it. We have lots of fun in talking. Welcome to my Facebook peeps who lurk. That means they just watch. That's okay too, but would love to have you chat. And welcome to all my YouTube viewers. Okay. So I want to remind you, zoom out. The Tuesday, August 3rd. Hi, Angela. Tuesday, August 3rd. Dawn will be here, and we will be doing a duet coloring out of Compass Roses. And we are doing the turtle. So we'll have lots of fun with that. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Dawn Denise Boyer is an author of oodles of coloring books. And this is in our affiliate, by the way. Da-da-dum. So it's available if you want to get a hold of a copy. Okay. I hope everybody's having a basically decent day. And I am going to continue coloring in a little bit in Enchanted Forest. Hello, Julie. Hello to Rhonda, Angela, and everybody else that's popping in. A little bit in Enchanted Forest, a lot in Adorable Animals. All right. La-da-dum. Hi, Julie. And I have got cats. They are circling. They've been fed, so. All right. Well, hello, Wanda. Congratulations to our very own Wanda, whose coloring, which I call the Slave Girl, has been selected to be the banner in Life Escapes. That is pretty cool, Wanda. I hope you're feeling excited about it. I'm sure you are. Okay. So let's look at Enchanted Forest for just a little bit. Oops, would help if I get it. Hey Wanda, I have a favor to ask you. Will you please mention this group in Life Escapes? That way we get people in here that they have a place to go for companionship. You know, that's my big thing. Okay. Zoom out. Alright, so I went ahead and I did, you know, I told you that this is a two-piece work, and I went ahead and I added some stencil work on this side. And what I specifically want to show you on that yeah, that would be great, Wanda. I mean, I'm just looking for awareness of the group so people know. You know, maybe you can find a way to post it and just say, learned in this group, or, you know, whatever. You don't even have to say that. You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can figure it out. Okay, so as you can see, I'm adding stencils to this side, custom stencil work, and I added this heart and this little rose, our stencil. I went ahead and drew up the little image of the boy and the girl on the swing and put the lines in to go all the way up to the tree. Zoom in, zoom in, and I went ahead and excuse me, extended the tree branch so that I had a place to attach the swing. Zoom out. And this ought to look pretty cool. Now, the stencil didn't have these connector lines. I went ahead and added those. Zoom in. So I put these here and here, and I may go ahead and maybe color this red when I'm doing the rest of the piece. Thank you, Wanda. Zoom out. Now, I want to show you the stencils that I'm using. These are in our affiliate list. I use the heart, of course, and here is my stencil with the big heart and the rose. So yeah, lots of fun. But as I always say, don't get stupid with your embellishments, guys. Don't over add stuff, okay? So let me go ahead and just show you what I'm thinking about this rose real quick. Zoom in. And the concept here that I want to show you is that even though you have artist drawn pieces to this, you can go ahead when you add a stencil like this and color over it just like it was a solid piece. So I don't want you to think that you have to color every single little doodad. And this is especially important if you have Millie Murata's book, who has a bazillion teeny pieces in it. Hi, Sandy. Okay, now let me look at this. And again, guys, this all comes back to you being willing to mark in your books. You've got to get over being afraid to do that. Zoom out. Okay, everybody see where I'm going with this. And it looks like I have, hello Rita. Rita from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Formerly of Guatemala. All right. And what you can do when you're coloring in like this, use your Sharpies if you want, but just be careful they don't bleed through. Now, on this piece, also, I added this extra leaf and this one, I think, and that one. Okay. Hello, Dorothy. Rita says at the moment I'm in Santa Fe, but you never know with her. Dorothy is here. Okay, now that's my pink. And now I'm going to take a little bit of red. And give that some extra tint. I'll tell you what, Wanda's becoming a celebrity. She's getting all sorts of recognition for her work, and I'm so proud of her. Okay, so notice how I'm adding the tinge of red, the tint, the outline, make up my mind, ILene. Because I want to give that rose kind of a roughish look, if that makes sense, pattern-wise. Okay, zoom in. Zoom in. Well, Wanda, you know, my pleasure. And my pleasure out of this for you, I mean, you went from just not wanting to do it at all to now where you are. And that gives me pleasure. You were willing to listen. You were willing to experiment. You didn't say, I can't, I can't, I can't. You were saying, I'll try, I'll try, I'll try. And you've been nailing it ever since. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put a little white by erasing this out in the center. And Wanda is a perfect example of not allowing her, what she perceived as failures to trip her up and stop her. She listened to what I told her. She expanded upon it and perfected it. And she's made it her own. And that's exactly what I want to see for you guys. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, now, you see these little red marks right here that look like dashes? I'm adding those on purpose. And then I'm just playing with the edges a little bit. So my statement back to everybody is, stop saying I can't and start saying I'll try. Okay, a little bit of white pencil here. Oh, Wanda, by the way, you'll be glad to know as I remove the creaking boat. The creaking boat is no longer creaking. Oh my, that makes me laugh. Zoom out. And the thing is, guys, is Wanda, when she was doing all this, she would ask questions. That's what we're here for. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. And Wanda says exactly, each and every one of you can push forward, get better, right? Better and better, and astound yourself with what you can accomplish. Laughter is like a medicine. Oh, excuse me, I gotta adjust my camera a little bit. Phew, the creaking is gone, she says. Yeah, it is. I sank the boat, Wanda. And guys, really, in all seriousness, if you're hearing a tone, something that I'm playing that bothers you, please contact me and let me know. Okay, a little more white in the center of this rose just to blend it. There you go. Zoom out. All right, now it looks, remember, it's gonna look weird because we gotta do the rest of this. But if you can now imagine how cool this is gonna look when I go ahead and start doing the leaves around it. All right, zoom in. Now, I want to tell you something. Hello, Harriet. I want you to think about this. Some of your coloring issues that you have may be because of your inability to imagine ahead how something's going to look. So that means that you need to develop that skill. Harriet, hello, hello, hello. How is Harriet doing? And the more you color and the more you practice and the more that you play with colors, the more you'll be able to envision how stuff's going to look. Right, Harriet? Poor Harriet, I'm putting her on the spot. Just say right. Oh, you got the fixative. Yay. Shake the heck out of it, coat your page, and play with it. In a well-ventilated room. Okie dokie smoky. Harriet's good, she said right. Whoops. Okay, everybody see now how this is coming together. So as you continue to color and practice, you will start to be able to envision how something is going to look. And then you can carry that out. Now, having said that, you also need to keep in mind, zoom in, Okay, Harriet says, yeah, but guess I didn't coat it enough, still not looking blended, but if at first you don't succeed, try again. Okay, your coating issue may be, I'm sorry, your blending issue may be a coloring issue and not a blending issue. All that fixative does is it gives you a surface to execute your coloring on. Okay, don't necessarily rely on it for coating. I'm sorry, for blending. Okay. Mary says, Ben said since I have to take him to Cleveland tomorrow, we could go fishing Tuesday. There you go. Okay, so if you notice, I'm coloring the set of leaves here. One color. Here's my second dimensional color. Harriet, your fixative is to create, it preps the paper. And it helps it accept the colors better. The feel of the pencils and so forth. The pigment, that's what I'm trying to say. So you're still going to have to work on that. Amazon paper, fixative, and Crayola pencils. Okay. Okay, so notice I'm having the base of each little leaf, and also notice that I'm just coloring the smaller leaves this one color, and I missed a couple. The fixative, guys, is meant to prep your paper. And thank you, Wanda, for helping her with that. Okay, white lines and paper showing, exactly. That's where you use your blender pencil, per what Julie is saying. And what's happening is the pigment of the pencil is not necessarily going down into the paper, and that's where you blend it with your blending pencil. Exactly. Your Krylon spray does not necessarily fix that. That's coloring. Oh, you're welcome, Harriet. Nature. Zoom out. Okay. Yeah, that white you're seeing is what I refer to as a popcorn on the coloring area. And when that happens, you need to take your white pencil or your blender pencil and use that. The only thing that the fixative is meant to do, I'm going to show you an example right now. Okay, Harriet, look at this. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, see this larger leaf right here? And we've got white coming through. Fixative doesn't fix that. That's a pencil issue. So what you need to do is take your blender pencil and blend that until it's smooth and that white goes away. It could be a pencil issue. I misspoke. It could be a pencil issue. It could be a paper issue. All the fixative does is creates that layer of protection and primes the paper to accept your pencils better. Do you see this? Right. And what Wanda's saying, the fixative will basically give you a better surface on your paper, and it should allow you more layers of color. That's right. And there you go, as Julie's saying, make sure you clean off the blender pencil every time you use it. Exactly, I had red on my tip. So, you see how that got smoother, Harriet? Zoom out. Does that help you, Harriet? And guys, this is why we have such a good group, because people will blend in, jump in, and give you this information. Your fixative preps your paper. And whether you get that little popcorn effect where you said that white is showing through, that's a function of paper, it's a function of your pencils. A lot of paper on coloring books are printed on the cheaper paper. Johanna Bosford, her books are printed on good quality paper. So you have less of that as a problem. And that's correct. If you burnish your pigment, your pencil, it's going to be more difficult to add layers. Oh, good, Julie. So she says she posted a pic of one side being blended and the other side not. Okay, and be sure to put the book and the author for me, even though you're just demonstrating a technique. And this is why when you use your blending pencil, guys, you don't jam it into the paper. Oh, you're welcome, Harriet. Okay, Julie, thank you. And Harriet, if you're still having problems and need to talk about it, keep asking. This is what we do in this group. Okay, everybody see now how I've got a really nice... So Rhonda says she's learned that sometimes it's a certain colored pencil brand, yep, not working well with the paper. Exactly. She says she doesn't use cardstock, so she has to adjust with each book. Rhonda, excellent point. Every single book is going to be different. You've got different paper, you've got different ink, and then add on to that you may be using different pencil brands, or you may only have one pencil brand, and that pencil brand may not play nice with your paper. It's a it's a constant give and take with coloring. That's why I keep telling you guys, don't get frustrated with your coloring. Okay, so I'm very lightly just using my blender pencil just to smooth out that pigment. And as Wanda mentioned, you don't jam it into the paper, your blending pencil, because it's going to be harder to add more colors. Just kiss your paper. Okay, Harriet said she grabbed by Prismacolor blender. It's looking better. Had I known, I would have blended between layers. I will do that. Okay, Harriet, just be careful about blending all the time, okay? But yes, that's going to help. Zoom in. Okay, see how I have these white streaks on here? I'm very, very lightly going over that with my blender pencil. Guys, your blender pencil should be your best friend. Now, I don't use it all the time, it just depends. And you will start using your judgment as you color more, and it'll become very natural on what you do. All right, now I'm going to show you something here. Just a little different technique. So this page has been pre-sprayed with the Krylon spray. I've put down my pencil. There's a wax layer there, right? Now I'm going to take my water-based markers. Watch this. So I'm going to go ahead now and put that darker green at the base. And then I'm going to smudge it a little with my finger. See how it's created that green on there? This is another technique you can use. And what's happening is the water-based marker is sitting on top of the pencil, which is sitting on top of the paper. And that's what allows me to do this blending. That's right. As Rhonda says, she thinks it's better to blend after instead of between layers because you can blend the tooth away of the paper. And if you blend that tooth away, when you go to put pencil on it, it's just going to slide over the top. Now, what tooth of paper is, if you looked at paper under a microscope, your paper has ridges and valleys in it. And depending on the quality of the paper will depend on how well it takes your pencil. So when you color over paper with your pencil, you are pushing that pigment into the paper. And sometimes it doesn't go down to the bottom, and that's where you get your little white stuff. Whoop. So your paper has microscopic ridges and valleys in it. And the cheaper the paper, cheaper paper does not have good tooth on it. It's very slick. And that's why sometimes it's more problematic to color on. Think of your paper as kind of like a sponge that has ridges and valleys on it. You know, you've all seen a sponge that's got the little holes in it. Well, paper has those little microscopic ridges and valleys. Zoom out. Yes, and what Julie is saying is if you have white problems when you're putting down your color, you can work it with your pencil and eventually get rid of that. The only issue with that is if you're trying to shade a certain way and you don't want to quite press in that much color, now, sometimes when I have ridges and valleys, I will use white pencil. But then again, it depends what I want to do with my piece. I may not want white pencil on it. And as Angela says, that's why we need sharp, sharp points on the pencils. Exactly. Harriet, does all this make sense? And what Julie is saying, where we talk about your fixed tiff is good if you put a layer of, well, she's saying watercolor, but water-based markers down. Yeah, no problem. I just mentioned that. And fixed tiff is especially good if you're going to put marker down first and then put pencil on top of that, which I'll take a moment and do that. Oh, you weren't using sharp pencils, Harriet? There you go. That's a biggie. Okay, Harriet, are you aware of the affiliate list and that I've got little hearts by stuff that's critical to have? I have a Linkyo electric sharpener. Yep, Prisma will go down a lot differently with fixed tiff on the page. That's right. Zoom out. One of the sets of sharpeners that I have are these little cheapy ones. And they are excellent for creating a super sharp point. So I use this to enhance my sharpening, along with my Linkyo, which is my electric sharpener. Okay, Harriet, it's on Facebook. Okay, so what you do, Harriet, is you go to the top of our group, go into announcements, and you'll see an affiliate list there. Could someone help Harriet with that? Excuse me. Angela likes her doll, DAHLE 133. Okay, Harriet, if you have any problems getting to it, ask. Go to announcements, you'll see it. All right. Zoom out. So does everybody see now how this is starting to work up? And because I don't have any fairies here, I'm using standard colors. So let me continue with this because I wanted to show Harriet something and she popped out. Hello, Linda. Linda Hirschenroder. I love that name. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay. Pen on paper. Putting my little squiggle lines. Linda's still thinking of my oh, she found it. Okay, Linda, I'm sorry, Harriet, I want to show you something here. Give me a second. Okay, so Harriet, when you go through that list, you'll see things that have hearts by it. Those are critical items that I feel a colorist should have. Okay, so notice that I'm going ahead and I am adding extra lines with this. So I like to add the little doodads on the trees. And guys, why wouldn't you, right? All right. Let me look on the back of something here. Okay. Harriet, I want to show you something here, and I need your guys' patience a second because I've got to spray this page. It's the back of this one. Zoom out. All right, hold on. Give me a second here. Okay, I've got to let this dry a second. Oop! All right, anybody have any questions so far while I'm letting that dry? Zoom out. Great discussion about how we prepare our paper. Okay, so how do you prevent lines when you use a sharp pencil? You won't get lines. Harriet, when you color with a sharp pencil, when you color, you don't jam your paper into the surface. So that's just a little coloring technique. You shouldn't be pressing so hard that you have lines. You're just gently coloring over the top. Zoom in. Okay, Harriet, what we were talking about earlier, what Angela was talking about, is I'm going to take water-based marker. And notice, zoom in, zoom in. Notice that I can push this marker around, and that's because I sprayed it with the Krylon and the marker is on top of the Krylon. It makes a really nice surface for marker. Now, you can't do that with alcohol-based. And what Angela was talking about, and there's another comment, watch where ILene is holding the pencil further back from the tip. It takes lots of time to color, and the color is light, right? But the best way to color for shading. Okay, Harriet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blue pencil. On top of the marker, and I'm going to shade around the outside to start creating my designs. You see how I'm doing that? And that's what Angela was talking about, that you use pencil on top of marker. I do it all the time. And then I'm going to blend that color in towards the center so that you have an island of lighter color. Isn't it appropriate? You can hear birds. And then notice that I'm going to press just a little harder on the very outside. And as I do that, it starts to make the bird. Yeah, I picked a super short pencil. Notice as I darken in the outside that starts to make my bird look dimensional. Isn't that cool? Now normally I'd be using a second pencil with a darker color, but I'm doing this as a demo for you. Zoom out. There you go. See how cool that looks? And in this case, I didn't need my blender pencil. Be very judicious with a blender pencil if you can. There you go. Zoom out. That's right. What Julie's talking about is that this brush that I use, you can use a makeup brush, doesn't matter as long as it's clean, of course. Don't ever brush with your hands. Always brush with a brush. There you go. Okay. And that's why you see me brushing a lot, because I just want to make sure, you know, like that my surface doesn't pick up something. All right, everybody see how this is starting to come together. Harriet, what you need to do when you color is you tint in your color lightly, because if you come in heavy at the first go, you completely lose your chance to play with it with light and dark shades. You absolutely have got to get away from just coming in guns a-blazing heavy. Okay. So as I continue with this on another day, you'll see how this will all start to come together. Now, the neat thing is too, I'll show you this a little bit. Zoom in. Zoom in. So this happens to be the blue that I'm using for the background. Rhonda, this is the blue that I used. I did all of this by hand. I did not use some eyeshadow, chalk, gelatos. Yeah, Wanda says she lays her colors down even lighter than I do. And you can see how vivid and beautiful they come out. Now, normally I would color these little leafy things, whatever they are, first. But I just want to show you how this background is going to start to look with this. So Harriet, are we messing with you? Are we overloading you? And guys, don't forget, when you move your pencil around, do that little micro turn of your pencil in your hand to keep your point sharp. So I'm just going to do just a little bit here. Just to give you peeps an idea here how this will turn out. Zoom out. Yeah, it's a gorgeous blue. It's the Cerulean Blue PC Prismacolor number 103. And Harriet, you'll also notice that I always lay my hand on a paper towel because you don't want your hand laying directly on your coloring. Does anybody have any questions? Isn't that pretty? zoom out. So you can see now how all of this is going to look. Oh, I colored inside of a flower. Oh well. It is now blue sky. Now, guys, if you make a mistake like that, see, this was a plant here behind the heart that I put in, and I accidentally made it blue, part of the blue background. Then what you do is you still color around it, because what I'm coloring around now are what would have been the veins. Zoom in. And Harriet, like I said, you keep turning your pencil. When I lift my pencil to move, I do a little micro turn, and that keeps your point sharper longer. Okay, so let me show you how I'm going to work myself out of this major mistake. Zoom in. Oh yeah, it is. It's a beautiful blue. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. So I made a boo-boo with the color, because that should have been a leaf. But what will happen is when I do the rest of this picture with this blue background, it'll look like it's part of the background. So what I will do I won't get upset. I won't throw it out. I won't let it throw me. Is I will continue with my coloring plan. And what I will do is I will, let's see here. I'll just go ahead and I'll make that rim and these veins green to make it look like it is part of the plants. And that it's just spiny. And as I said earlier, I normally would color like the spinies first, but I wanted to show the blue background, and I made the blue background on something that shouldn't have been a blue background. But by the time all is said and done, you're not going to notice it, because when I get the rest of the blue background in, it's just going to look like it's part of it. So the moral of this story is, if you screw up, don't say anything. Just compensate. Now, yeah, and you know, so Julie said, the funny thing with me is I was doing a picture, and after I was done, I went and looked at how others colored it. Well, I was doing owls on a tree with leaves. Oh yeah, I remember. And part of it looked to me like where the two hills came together, so I made it gray for a mountain in the background. Well, I guess it was a leaf. Oops, LOL. Yeah. Now, if you make a mistake and you post it in this group, yes, you want to say something. That's the learning process. But when you post it in your other groups that you belong to, don't say a word, guys. And if you do make a mistake, when you post in this group, I would like you to post as to how you fixed it, okay? Any questions about what I'm telling you? So just so I don't screw it up again, I'm going to go ahead and color my second one that's right here, because of course there would be a second one by it. Oh my. And what I'll do with that, so Angela says, I bought a lot of Spring Hill paper because someone said it was good. My printer takes powder, not ink. It does not print well. It's blurred. Looking at the powder rubs off. Is there any way to improve this? I have 750 sheets. Angela, try spraying it with the Krylon Fix-Tiff. And Julie said about her owl, you can't tell it's a mistake just that you know it, that I know it. It could be Menace Mountains. There's always things in some pics we see as different items. That's right. Angela, spray it with the Fix-Tiff and see if that fixes the ink. All right, let me color this one leaf and then I'm going to move on. Listen, guys, I can't say this enough. Yeah, and Angela, let me know if that works for you. It should, putting that Fix-Tiff on there should fix the ink. And hopefully help with that. Okay, so I'm having a little problem here with my green being spotty. Zoom in. So after I wipe off the tip of my blender pencil, I'm very, very lightly, doesn't take a lot of pressure, guys, and in teeny tiny little circles. Yeah, so Angela says, thanks, I'll try that later. The moment the powder rubs off onto the paper towel, I'm leaning my hand. Yep. Angela, do you have the Fix-Tiff? Do you have a can of it with you? I'm cautiously optimistic that that will fix your problem. Okay. Now remember, as Wanda mentioned, when you blend, it's also like coloring over something with your pencil. And at some point in time, you're going to get a wax buildup. So you need to balance that. Zoom out. Okay, does everybody see how I overcame that major oopsie? Guys, you really gotta quit panicking about your stuff. Okay? So now what's gonna happen, if I don't manage to make the mistake again, is that wherever my sky is, Clarissa, hi sweetie, Clarissa. Angela, do you have the Fix-Tiff? Oh, Micador matte. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, everybody see how I'm fixing that now and how it's starting to come out and you don't see the major area, the major problem. Yeah, blending stumps are rolled up paper. I do not tend to use them. I just don't. Zoom out. Yeah, Anne said she got the fixative after learning about it from us and from me. It does make the cheaper book color nice. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Okay, I got one little area that I'm going to make blue right now because if I don't, I'm going to forget that it's sky. So give me a second here. Anybody have any other questions about this particular piece? I print mine on cardstock as well, but I still use the fixative. So what do you guys think so far? Now, one thing I want to point out to you, and I know this is going to happen. Angela says that so far she's only used the fixative on top of coloring to stop the pencils from rubbing, or the papers from rubbing on the opposite page. And Wanda says she used the blending stumps with mineral spirits on the background of her hummingbird picture and it worked nicely. Yep. Zoom in. So I know that my Prismacolor pencil is going to probably not last for this entire background because it's pretty huge. And this is why I have multiple brands of pencil, so that if I run out, I can compensate for it on a picture if I'm on the middle of something. So that's just a little side note that I wanted to give you. So what you're saying, Wanda, is you use blending stumps and mineral oil on your grayscale. Correct? Mineral Spirits dries, completely dries away, and it has an initial odor. You've got to use it in a well-ventilated area. It's a chemical, it's paint thinner. So yeah, because it doesn't stay oily, it's wonderful. I've spilled mineral spirits on my paper and it completely dries. So Wanda says she dips the tip of the stump in the mineral spirits, dabs off the excess, and blended the pencil now that the background was white. So come again, Wanda, you dip it, dab off the excess, and then blend on your grayscale. Oh yeah, the hummingbird grayscale picture came from a watercolor picture and they left the background white, yes. Right, no excess liquid, exactly. I was just clarifying that for everybody else. And I wanted to make sure they understood, Wanda. Well, and no wonder what you use, a chemical is a chemical. Right, odorless mineral spirits is what I use. But it is a chemical. Zoom out. Zoom out. Go to your hardware store and get a huge can of it for 10 bucks. Odorless mineral spirits. The Gamasol is very expensive on Amazon, and it's the same thing. They basically put it in a small jar and sell it for a lot of money. Okay, I'm about to wrap this page up for the moment. Anybody have any questions? Zoom in. Right, don't get it on your skin, and you've got to ventilate. It's a chemical. Zoom in. So this is where I drew in the branch to be a little bit longer to accommodate for my swing. And I covered up the tip where I extended it, where the line was that the author had put in, with the little hanging part of my swing. So I hid that. No biggie deal. If you can't hide it, you just draw a few squiggles around it and it'll look like a branch. Okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. I actually took a pickle jar, which I can seal tightly. I poured in the mineral spirits from that can because I didn't want to mess with the can. And I clearly labeled it with permanent stick-on labels. So that's how I keep it safe. Now again, it is odorless, but it's a chemical. Zoom out. Okay, everybody sees how this is coming together. I put the custom stencil on here of the little swing with the boy and the girl. I put the heart stencil with the flower on here and colored that up. And as you can see where I made the error, where this should have been a plant, and actually I like it better that there's sky behind here. So I'm going to call that a happy accident. Don't panic if you make a coloring mistake. All right, I think we're good to go for the moment. And I'm so proud of my group that jumped in and answered questions. This is why we have a good group, because we are a teaching group and we help each other. Okay. I'm going to move on. Moving. Grayscale. You guys are going nuts over these apples. I'm glad you like them. And guys, if you get a question answered and you still don't understand, ask again. Okie dokie. Can we do the bird? Yeah, I'll do the bird. I would be happy to do that for you. All right, so I'm treating this as a bluebird of happiness. Zoom in. My pleasure, Angela. That's why I'm live. Okay. Somebody want to tell me what my step should be? I'm going to make it blue. How do I select my colors? Da-da-dum. Oh, come on, I know somebody knows. Do I get 3 light colors? Sandy says light, medium, dark. Exactly. Thank you, Sandy. Now, on grayscale, does not matter if you like to do your dark first, your light first, your medium first, whatever. I happen to like to do the dark part first. And as Julie says, you need the 3 shades of light blue, medium, right, light, medium, dark, right? Now, when you're coloring, I don't want you to go brain dead, and what that means is you still have the option of exercising your artistic creativity. So sometimes when I'm coloring and a color is indicated, I might just change it up a little bit. Or I may add on to it. Correct, Julie. You use the dark on the dark of the grayscale. See right here where it's dark underneath the chin, the cheek? Now, I want you guys to connect the dots. If you were coloring this as line art, meaning all this wasn't here for you, this is how you should be coloring your bird. And this is why I really like grayscale, because it teaches you shading, proper shading and toning. Right, Julie, think about it. When you have the dark, the medium, and the light, that's what we are replicating with color. This is like you took a picture in color and then you made it black and white, and now you're just restoring the colors through coloring. Oh, that sounds funny, but that's what you're doing. Zoom in. So then I'm going to take my medium blue and gently color over my medium areas on the bird. And Harriet, this is why, are you still with us here? Harriet, this is why you have to learn not to have such a heavy touch with your pencils. Now, this light, medium, and dark is all relative to each other. And you see now how the spots that I'm leaving, and Harriet, I am barely touching, okay, not barely touching, but I'm lightly touching the paper. And what you need to learn, Harriet, let your pencils do the work. Quit trying to shove the pigment into the paper, okay? Oh, Julie says she's got a Ben Klein picture started and stopped on it because it has a bird on it. Okay, cool. Now, everybody see that what's left on this are the light spots. Oops, hold on. Why start with the dark? Personal choice. That's what I was saying earlier. You can start with the light if you want. You can start with the medium colors. Doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Exactly, Julie. We'll get there. Good eye. Okay, now I'm taking my light blue, and now you're going to see why I like to do it in this sequence. And I'm blending over and into the medium blue. Zoom out. Now, I will not be using mineral spirits on this or a blender pencil. Well, I may use mineral spirits, we'll see. Oops, missed a dark. But what I want you to see now is as I am adding my last color, everything is coming in now and making sense. Now, I've noticed on some of your postings that you guys are doing when you're doing grayscale, you're not blending your colors together. You're coloring up to the edge of your previous color and that's it. That's okay on line art, but not on grayscale. You've got to blend your colors and make them very smooth. Now notice how that medium blue didn't go away around the eye? I'm going to add, however, I'm going to add it back a little bit. It didn't go away, but it's a little lighter than what I want. And then I'm going to go back with my light blue. And blend all these colors together. So in this case, I'm using my medium blue, my light blue as the blender pencil. Zoom out. And then if you want to go back and touch up with your medium blue or your dark blue, you can do that. Now, I'm going to take my blender pencil and I'm very judiciously and very lightly just going to hit this a little bit. If you do it too hard or too much, you're going to mix all your colors together and then it's going to be a mushy mess. There you go. And a little bit I use my finger. Zoom out. Zoom out. What do you think? All right, let's do the tail. And guys, some people try to add color to the point that the gray disappears. Don't do that. The gray is what's coming through and giving you your shading. Okay, Julie says that's why I'm putting off my picture. I printed it and it seems to just smush together. I need to see if fixative will stop that. Okay. And Julie said I started my flowers but didn't like them too well. Maybe when all is done I'll like it better. Yeah, don't judge until you get the rest of the picture done. Zoom in. Okay, now on the tail, I'm going to go ahead and use a dark gray. And then I'm going to use a lighter gray over the top. This will make sense in a second. And again, you can go back with your darker color if you just want to re-emphasize something. And then I'm going to use a little bit of green. And then back over it with my lightest gray. And if you want to touch up some of your areas to define the feathers, I've got a little bit of black in here. Do you guys remember I was doing hair and I would go back and I would add the darkest gray or a black in between? So I'm using a little bit of black on the darkest blue. Look at that. Questions, comments? All right, so now I'm going to do a brown, a light medium, and, well, more goldish colors. This will be really pretty, guys. Okay, am I close enough for you guys to see this? So I've got my dark gold, goldish brown, now there's not too much of that darkish gold on here. And then I'm going to go with my medium. And guys, I'm just kissing the paper with my pencil. Hold your pencil at least halfway up to prevent you from jamming it into the paper. And keep turning it. Oh, isn't that beautiful? And then I'm going to use my lightest color. on my remaining areas. And this is where I'm allowing my lightest color to blend over and on top of my dark and my medium. But use your judgment in doing that. You don't have to do it all the time, but you must make sure that you merge these colors and not butt them next to each other. Okay, and why do I keep turning what? Turning it? Yeah, it helps me when you ask a question. Please be complete in your questions because there's so many conversations going on. And let me go ahead and color that beak. We'll go ahead and do that. Are you oh, pencil? Because it keeps the point sharper as I'm going along. If I keep coloring on one side of my pencil, it's just going to get flatter and flatter and flatter. Now, if you want to go back and add, this is my darkest pencil of all things, and I'm using it just to add a little more oomph to these feathers. This is where your artistic choice comes in. And because I'm adding it on top of my medium pencil, it's giving me a different color. I just decided that I wanted to kick that up just a little bit. So this is why I always say don't go brain dead when you're using colored, when you're doing grayscale. Zoom out. And I'm also going to kick in a little bit of the gold on top of this gray and black. There you go. Questions, comments? And if you still feel that you're a little bit rough, very, very lightly, once over. This is where Rhonda is using her blending stump and her mineral spirits. Everybody see now how those colors are blending together and creating the depth. Angela, of course it's not as good as mine because I've done it longer. You'll get there, but you gotta practice. Okay, now look, I'm gonna take a little bit of white. And I'm gonna lighten this around the eye. Zoom in. And these are now the little extra touches. That you can add. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the breast feathers came out beautifully. Harriet, light touch. I can't emphasize that enough for you. You've got to quit drilling your pencils into your paper. Okay, so a little bit touch of black pen around the eye. Zoom out. Zoom out. There you go. And I'm just softening this up a little bit more. Yeah, the worm. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I love you guys. Zoom in. Zoom in. You guys don't let me get away with anything, do you? So, I'm going to use a reddish brown. To capture that worm so that he shows up. Oh. And I'm going to use just a little bit of black, just a smidge, just to distinguish our worm, because he's getting kind of lost there. Now that worm will show up once I work the colors on the chest of my little scarecrow. Zoom out. Oh. Zoom out. There you go. Now, if you have an area that you feel is too stark, yeah, the worm isn't coming out of the beautiful apples. Some of my dark feathers on my bird, zoom in. Zoom in. These lines are way too stark. So I'm going to use my dark blue pencil, and I'm going to blend them in a little better. Now, again, just because the artist didn't have shading someplace doesn't mean that you can't add it in to enhance. So as you can see, I'm going ahead and I'm extending my shading of the dark feathers. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want those layers of dark to show up a little better. Oh, is JoJo here? Zoom out. So this is where sometimes I like to tweak stuff, but be really careful that you don't over tweak. All right. So there's how I do the bird. La, da, 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 dum. Okay, so sometimes what I like to do is I like to go ahead and color in something if I want to see how well something else around it is going to look. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and play with my leaf right here. Zoom in. So let's go ahead. You can clearly see dark, medium, and light on here. Zoom in. So this will be a good example for you to work your grayscale. And again, turn your pencil, keeps it sharp. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in my medium. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my light in. And by the way, guys, are you finally connecting the dots? Why I tell you on line art to use multiple pencils of color when you color something so that it isn't flat? Here's the answer right in front of you. Think grayscale. Okay. Now I'm going to play around with the edge of the leaf. Zoom in. I'm not following any light, medium, or dark convention at the moment. I'm just putting my darker color out to the outside with my lighter gold towards the inside. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now, see those little crumblies? This is why you want your brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of white, zoom out, zoom out. I'm going to take a little bit of white, and put some highlight in there. And notice that I take my finger, my voice is cracking. Notice that I take my finger and just push it once or twice. Now, I'm going to take my lightest brown and blend that in a little better on top of my green. Angela, I think it was you. You've got to blend those colors together on your grayscale. Now, if you want to give your leaf an overall tinge of brown, now I'm just doing this for giggles and laughs. Do it on top of your green. See that? Guys, the overall trick is you want this, what, smooth. Zoom out. There you go. Zoom out. Love it. What do you guys think so far? You like it? Zoom out. All right. And the reason that I keep asking you if you guys like it is because if you like it, you're going to be more inclined to try it, right? I'm not asking you if you like it from a standpoint of me coloring it, per se. And my next question is, would you do this? Dorothy says she's getting her book tomorrow. Yay! Harriet says she would try it. Cool. Harriet, I'll say it again, I'm not picking on you. You gotta have a light touch with grayscale. So you've got to solve your heavy-handedness. Hold on, guys, I'm looking for a dark purple. Oh, Harriet, you can never have enough books. Are you kidding? Get the book. Okay, hold on. But if you get it off the affiliate list. Oh, I'm so bad. I am. Okie dokie. How many books do you have, Harriet? Angela says she thinks she has about 300. Not game to count them all, but I give some of them away as well. There you go. Harriet, you can never have too many coloring books. Okay. Zoom in. So let's play with the shirt. Now, the other thing I want you to think about, I don't want you to go brain dead. You know, I've talked a lot about this with grayscale. With your light, medium, dark. And again, you would do a light, medium, dark for non-grayscale. But sometimes when I color, oh, you have Olive Basford's. Okay, yep. Sometimes when I color, I will go ahead and add in my own interpretation of shading on grayscale. So on this shirt, I'm doing exactly that. This is my dark. And what I'm doing is I'm adding some additional areas where I think the shading should go. And that's where I tell you, don't go brain dead when you color. Angela says she has a full set syndrome. When I like an artist or a pencil, I've got to have them all. Yeah, I try not to do that. Now, the other thing that you've got to be careful about doing when you're doing grayscale is, I know newbies will do this. Rookies will do it. I'll call you rookies. I don't like newbies. That term. Is that you'll color meticulously and color like just on the dark, and you know, gosh forbid if you go over the dark area. Well, you've got to get over that. I want you to color like an artist, like you're painting this. Meaning that if you come into a dark area, you need to be a little more free-flowing. With the way you color this. Does that make sense? So I'm coloring in where the darker spots are, but I'm allowing my pencil to drift a little bit. Somebody tell me whether that makes sense or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Zoom in. Okay. And remember, you know, just like going around this daisy, if this were line art, I would be shading around the edges of this daisy just like I am now. Sunflower, excuse me. Okay, so let's see. top of the arm. So here's my dark purple on this side. Zoom out. So now I'm going to come in with my medium. Oh, Jean, hello. Jean is in the room. And remember, black back blend over the previous colors that you put down. Otherwise, it's going to look really weird. Zoom in. And here's my light color that I'm just going to go ahead and put in here now because that's in this smaller area. Jean, be sure to say hi to Marilyn for me. Okay, I want you to notice that I'm running my medium color over my dark because I want them to blend together. And the key word here is over because I'm blending these, right? And because I'm not using a lot of pressure, I'm not obliterating that first color. Can everybody see that? Please do tell Mom and Daisy that you said hello, that I said hello. Daisy, Daisy. How is Daisy doing? Oh, Angela, you take care. How's Daisy's little boy doing? And then I'm going to go ahead now and take my light color and blend in that center. A little bit of medium next to my dark, on top of and next to. And then I'm going to use my light and come in there. Okay, zoom out. Now, see where I've got a lot of this popcorn effect where the color did not go in? And this is where Wanda talks about using her odorless mineral spirits and a Q-tip. Or I'll say cotton swab, because the ones that I have a pointy on one end and a flat on the other. So I'm going to dip in my flat side, dab it off, and blend. And you can see how beautifully smooth that leaves your piece. There you go. Zoom out. And if your edges are a little bit rough, so now I'm going to take the pointy end and very carefully blend. And if you need to go back over an area that you've blended, you can do that, and it comes out very, very smooth. Zoom out. And if you need to touch up with your pencil after that, that's fine. Totally up to you how you want to do that. There we go. And guys, I can't say this enough, it's all about the blending. Okay. Got a little bit on my sunflowers, not too worried about that. So Wanda, on average, well, not even on average, but how many layers do you end up putting on your grayscale? Typically. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I've got my medium right here. Probably, yeah, 4 to 8 layers. Okay. And when you do your grayscale coloring, do you typically use mineral spirits, or do you just use your pencils? Mostly pencils, yep. So if you are advising somebody about grayscale, it's better to be able to do it with the pencils and not necessarily depend on the mineral spirits. All right. Zoom out. Zoom out. Exactly. Wanda says that would depend on the individual picture or part of the picture. It all depends on it depends on how your pencils are behaving and also your subject matter. Okay, let's fool around with another apple. Sorry for the shadow. Zoom in. Zoom in. Didn't mean to do that. Oopsie. So Wanda says she mainly uses mineral spirits to smooth the finish. So if she has a larger area, it's easy and works better to use it. Okay, to use those spirits. Yeah, for a consistent blend. Okay. Yellow base on our apple. Don't forget to leave your white areas. That's your highlight. Now, another way to make sure that your pencil is blended well on your paper, especially on grayscale, is go ahead and color in little circles. Why? Because that change of that direction will help fill in those ridges in the paper. And you want to get those little divots filled in. Okay, so let's get that yellow way on that edge here. I'm sorry, Wanda, you're saying those are very light applications? What is a light application that's key to building your bright, rich color? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop my yellow on my second apple while I'm here. Oh, the 4 to 8 layers, yep. Now, everybody notice how I left those little intricate holes in this bottom apple? Teeny tiny white spot up at the top there. And guys, when you're putting on your base layer, on grayscale especially, what's the best way I want to say this? Oh, you're responding to Rhonda's comment. Okay. Your layers are what's going to make your piece look really cool on grayscale. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a couple of different reds. than I've been using on my other apples because I want that variety. So in this case now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my darker red on the darker areas of my apple. Now, for the most part, one brand of color pencil will work well with another brand because you're putting wax on wax. But sometimes you're going to have some that don't play well with each other. And that's okay. You just have to work around that. So notice now I have my darker red. Harriet, you still with us? And notice also that I'm even the teeniest tiny detail inside here, this area, which is the straw from the scarecrow. Poor Harriet, you feel picked on tonight. You shouldn't. At all. I just want to make sure that you're here, that you're picking up on this because you seem to be very interested in learning this. Now notice by the core, okay, I'm going to make that my darkest because visually speaking you're going down into a little pit, like you're going down into a well. Okay, good. Good, Harriet. Some people get a little shy. So when my intention is to help, sometimes they feel that I'm singling them out, and that is not the case at all. Okay, so there's my dark red. So now I'm using my next shade. And guys, this pencil that I'm using right now is a Sooty Style pencil. That's the brand. S-U-D-E-E style, S-T-I-L-E. It is considered a very inexpensive pencil. So what I'm saying to you, and the point being is, you can work with inexpensive pencils. Zoom in. Everybody see the different colors now between the two? Isn't that pretty? And be careful that you don't wipe out your little white shine areas. Now, I'm using little teeny tiny little circles to blend those two reds together. And what I want you to notice is that you do not see a specific line between your colors. Oh no, Wanda says my eyes are tired. I have to take a break from coloring and I don't want to. Yeah, just stop and look at something in the distance. Zoom out. Now, if you want to, go back with your darker red. And I'm going to pull up some of that red on the apple. The artist didn't do that. I'm going to do it. Oh, just beautiful. And then I'm very, very lightly going to take my blender pencil after I've cleaned off the tip, because I had it in blue just a minute ago, purple actually. And I'm going to soften these lines. See that? Zoom in. See how I'm making that softer? And I'm just going to go over with my finger a little bit. Zoom out. Okay, Wanda says, so ILene Vick, I'm working on a piece that might end up on the back of the cover of a soon-to-be published coloring book. Congratulations. I won't be posting it until I've submitted it. Okay. I'd love to see it, Wanda. If you trust me, send it to me via instant message. I absolutely promise you it will not go any further. Okay, now, watch this, and I did this before. I'm going to take a little bit of brown, and that's not dark enough. And this is actually a dark purple. And I'm going to put a few little spots on here. See that? Oh, Wanda, congratulations. How cool is that? And I'm going to take a dark brown. Now I want you to watch this. And I'm going to shade this apple by the highlight portion. And I'm going to put some of that dark brown inside of our little cave by the stem of the apple. And along the back side. And if you see some other spots that you want to tinge a little bit darker, put your dark brown on it. Well, Wanda, you go in with the attitude that you're going to win it. Zoom out. Zoom out. Isn't that beautiful? Questions, comments? Okay, I'm going to take the time, so it'll take me a couple more minutes if you guys are interested, because I want to finish that last apple. Harriet, would I be able to do what with Prismacolor? Zoom in. zoom in. Okay, so darker red down at the bottom. Color the apple? Oh, absolutely. This one that I'm using right now actually is a Prismacolor. Just because I'm using a particular pencil does not mean that you have to use that brand, because I pull my pencils by color and not by brand. So my apologies if I misled you into thinking that it's brand specific. I was just making the point with the Sooty style that it's an inexpensive pencil, and that you can still get a drop dead gorgeous result with it. Prismacolors, they don't merge together without looking muddy. It's not necessarily dependent on the brand of the pencil. It's dependent on how many times you push the blending. You can overblend a pencil. Any pencil can be overblended. And in fact, if you overblend pencil, if you put too many layers on it, you'll get a thing that's called bloom. And what that means is the wax starts to come to the surface of your piece. And it just means that the colors are being basically overstressed. Okay, lighter red on top of my apple here. And I want you to notice that I'm also coloring in the general direction of the apple. If the apple curves, you need to curve with it. It makes a difference. Can you fix bloom? Yeah, it's B-L-O-O-M. You know, like a blooming flower. Hard to fix. No, you can't really fix bloom. But what I want to say to you is, as you become a more experienced colorist, you'll know when to stop. And you'll be able to feel and or see that the bloom is starting to happen. Okay. Very, very light blender pencil here to soften those edges that are going into the white highlight. And your blender pencil can cause bloom as well. You can only push your wax around so many times. Okay. So dark brown or black, I'm going to go ahead and add my little speckles again. I don't know, I like them. You don't have to put them on. I just think they look kind of cool. And I also want you to notice too, hello Melba. I want you to notice how I'm putting these red streaks on here too. Whoop, my point just broke. Hold on. Do you guys see these red streaks that I'm putting on? Like little teeny tiny imperfections in your apple. And that's what's going to make your piece look realistic. Now I'm going to very carefully, so I'm going to rub this with my finger like twice. And then I'm going to take a little bit of dark gray, and I'm very, very lightly going to shade in a little bit of a shadow with that apple. Like teeny tiny, guys. Zoom out, zoom out, there you go. And I'm just going to blend in these lines just a little bit more with a very light gray pencil. You can do that if you don't want to use a blender pencil. It just acts as a blender. Zoom in. So the key to everything is you don't want any harsh lines on there. You want it nice and soft. Thank you, Wanda. See how I'm using my blender pencil to soften those edges that go towards the white? And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of red on this first apple here. That I did. Now, as far as asking about bloom, I can tell that I'm close to bloom on this apple. I can feel it. It's kind of hard to describe, but you will feel, how do I explain this? You'll feel a difference in your pencil as you're coloring. So I'm going to put a couple of my dots on here. And even though I put dots on, notice that I'm just taking a little bit of a swipe on it. There we go. Oh, I like that a lot better. And in my little divot, remember I made a little smiley underneath my stem? And I made my little smiley right here underneath that stem. And I'm going to make a little smiley underneath this stem. There you go. By adding that shadow at the base of the stem, that really shows that as being a little concave in there where that stem is coming out. And that looks really cool. I'm even going to put a little bit over here too. So I'm coming up and around that stem just to give it a little depth. And make sure, see, I'm adding this, so I'll make that a little lighter in the back. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. There you go. I can see it now on this piece. Everybody's going to talk about the apples. Oh my gosh, this is fun. And if you want, you can take a little bit of yellow and add that on top of your red. That makes for an interesting color combination as well. But guys, don't put a lot. You just got to play with it. Okay. I got to quit tweaking. Questions, comments? Would you feel comfortable coloring apples? This little sharp part. There we go. Just make sure when you have your shine that it basically curves. Otherwise it's going to look wonky. There we go. I had to fix that one corner. Harriet says she would feel comfortable coloring apples. I don't know why, but apples are very satisfying to color. I'm not 100% happy with my bird. I may revisit that with a little bit of blending and shading over the top. But let me tell you something about this. I'm not going to mess with that bird until I color the rest of my piece. because I have to see how that coloring impacts everything else, or everything else impacts the bird. Okay? It makes a difference. My suggestion is this: make limited corrections during the coloring of your piece. My favorite part of coloring is tweaking it afterwards. Although Wanda has to yell at me once in a while and say, "ILene, quit, enough." Right, Wanda? I love those apples. I agree with you. I think they're just gorgeous. And the other thing I might do, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I should tell you. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll add a little more definition to those blue feathers. I'm comfortable with the bottom part, the top part. Not super excited about. But one thing, and I'll show you guys this, and if you're new, you just got to kind of trust me on this. This is a crystal clear coating that you can put on. It's made by Plaid, and this bottle is like 3 years old. It got kind of goopy. Now, I bought a new one, and I don't know if the stuff, they just changed the color, or whether this thing, you know, it changed because of time. But anyway, I love the shine of those apples. And so what this stuff does is, think of it as like making a window clear and a little bit shiny. It's crystal clear stuff. And notice they didn't change the number. It's 16081. And I have put it on several other pieces that I've done. So I may play with this and put this on it, on my apples. I may do that tomorrow night to show you. Okay? But let me say this. The way that I've colored these apples now without any enhancement like that, they look like they're shiny. And if you get your coloring to this point that you can do something like that, you are in really good shape. Wanda has done that. She's accomplished that with her grayscale coloring. So when you get to that point that you can do something like making an apple look shiny, wunderbar. Now, obviously, the cloth is not going to be as shiny because it's cloth, right? But these apples, shiny. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, guys, love you guys to death. Thank you, Wanda. Yep, they are beautiful as they are. What she's saying is don't put the coating on. Oh. So guys, thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate it. I hope you learned something. And I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. Guys, be kind to each other. Help each other out. I know you do. I'm so proud of this group. I really am. You guys are the best. Okay, guys, you take care. Bye.